We've got Letti Bozard in studio, which means there is probably some stuff happening at Bozard Ford Lincoln right down the road. Letti, tell me about Bozard Built. You guys seem to be getting in the building business.
A little bit.
I hear a lot more. But
we've been in the building of buildings business for the last 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And so finally this year, I do not think we're going to build a building.
What?
Whoa.
I'm so happy about it.
You're a pioneer in this county.
Say congratulations. Congratulations that you're not going to build a building
I was
going to
say you guys are going to start your own construction company.
Construction's going down.
So we're going to play around with building some trucks. You guys have most likely heard of some of them, maybe not all of them, but there are a lot of companies out there, whether it's Shelby or Tuscany, they're conversion. Remember the old conversion van companies, Sherrod and all of them?
Yeah.
So there are conversion truck companies, and they do all kinds of stuff to trucks. They get them from Ford directly, and then they do all kinds of aesthetic changes to them, performance different changes to them, all that kind of stuff. And we carry them. We've been selling their product for years, and we still will. There's definitely customers that love that. But they're crazy expensive. I mean, you're talking about for a Super Duty, you're adding $25,000, $35,000 on top of it for all of this stuff. Now, they're amazing, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But there are a lot of folks that want some customization on their vehicles, and they don't want to spend $35,000, right?
Sure, yeah.
So we're going to be and we already do that from the standpoint of if you came in and you bought a truck and then you told us what you wanted, we would do it. We've been doing that for years. We're actually going to preload some of this type of stuff. So we'll usually have a handful, 5 to 10 of these trucks on the lot. We've just started to get them out there in the last month or so. So they'll be preloaded with things like tires and wheels and lifts and different shock packages and maybe dabble a little bit into some performance stuff. It won't be superchargers and things like that. Might play around with a Bozard built Mustang one day and do some performance stuff on it. So yeah, that's just a piece of our business that it already exists in our industry, but we're going to try to put our own stamp on it a little bit. So if you guys see these double Bs rolling around on the side of a truck, that means that we built it out there. So it's fun. It's going to be a fun piece of our business. So
that sounds like a lot of fun. So what are some customizations what can you do to a Mustang? What are you guys planning? Aesthetically, things like that.
So a lot of it,
because I love the Mustangs.
So we haven't done a Mustang yet. So the Mustang's like an idea at this point, and I would imagine a Mustang will include some performance type stuff. It might have a supercharger in it or something like that. So
right.
So but the trucks, which is what we've done now, in addition to the stuff like wheels and tires and shocks and things like that, and bumpers. We just did a truck that we did different bumpers, like the big beefy bumpers on the front of them, and stuff like that. But it'll also have trim level stuff, different leathers, different emblems, some stuff, different colors that you can't necessarily get with just the regular one from Ford and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be all kinds.
I would resell on something like that.
Stuff,
be if they were going to trade it in one day, or this more for collectors? What kind of?
No, it's not for collectors. I mean, it's not gonna have Bozard written down the side of it.
Okay,
We're not there.
It's not gonna look like a NASCAR.
The idea would be that it does not bring your trade value down; that it brings it up. These are quality things. So
I've seen the double B's Gucci print all over the car. That'd be hot, baby.
Yes. If you want to do a Davey Hartzell collab,
let's rock.
I feel like we can make this happen.
Crowns on the front.
Yes.
Bring your bedazzler.
Oh
yeah.
We
can bedazzle
You guys, let me do this.
Yeah. Yeah, but by and large, these are things that people have already been doing, and we know that folks like and want. We're just going to do them ahead of time, because a lot of times the folks that want that type of stuff, you buy the truck and then you got to wait 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever for all the stuff to get done to your vehicle. So you'll have the ability to come in and buy one that's already set up that way.
I love it.
So,
and everybody
it's
wants
fun.
something unique and custom these days. They really do. Something that's individual
It's
to
cool.
them.
Yeah, we haven't launched the website yet, but we'll have a website, bozardbuilt.com, where you will actually be able to go in and play with the different things. So you'll be able to kind of build out, look at what the different things are that you can add to it and stuff like that. So,
I'm going to be on your website every day just messing with trucks. One day, I'm going to get a new truck that's
Can you save
customized.
it? Can you save your work? Can you save your wish list? Okay. This is going to be
Oh,
great.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's not live yet, but it'll be there at some point.
Oh,
that's
fun.
exciting.
That's a 2024 project for us, is to kind of build that out. We do have some of the trucks pre-built, but we're kind of working on the whole thing with the marketing side of it and how to get it out there so people can play with it.
Do you ever feel pressure with
Things like
timing
that, so.
because other dealerships out there, other Ford dealerships out there, are doing something like that before you, like, or do you just you listen to your business?
Yeah, I think by and large we listen to our business. I mean, I try to stay. I think Bo and I both try to stay as educated as we can. I have zero problem stealing someone else's idea. I will call them on the phone and say, "I'm going to steal your idea, and can you tell me how you do it? Because I actually want to steal the entire idea. To make it easier for me.
I want to get it right.
I want to make sure I get it right. You know,
Right. Yeah. Right.
And you know what's interesting? I don't. Ford. Anyways, that's what we own. By and large, other Ford dealers are always happy to share. If someone called us tomorrow and said, "How are you guys packaging these vehicles?" we would just be like, "Here, let me send you an email."
Love that. Okay.
There's not a lot of reason not to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I didn't know how competitive it
yeah.
gets.
Yeah, I mean, we're all competitive, obviously,
Yeah.
but I think we're competitive for the customer relationship. We really all sell the same thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
True.
And quite frankly, we sell them at the same prices with a tiny bit of difference based on inventories and stuff like that. But we're really selling the same thing, and everyone's fighting to build that relationship with the customer, because that's actually what's valuable, is the whole relationship, that you'll buy from us, that you'll service, that you'll buy again from us, that you might buy your kid's car from us.
Yeah.
That's where the
Trust
relationships are important. So, yeah.
Cool. So no more building of buildings.
No
right
more building
now.
of buildings. We got
That's good.
I think I shared with you guys late last year, we were building that separate detail building for our detailers. They
Yes.
do not have to spend one more summer in the hot. I'm so
That's so
excited.
amazing.
So we got that open in December, and they got all moved in
Wow.
in January. So they're rocking and rolling and doing that, and that's been super helpful. We're able now to take their old space we were using for detail and be a little bit more productive with it and stuff like that. But yeah, that was the last building for a hot minute.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good for you.
We're waiting to see kind of I don't know if you guys have been out there lately, but like the hospital urgent care Baptist is up.
Right.
It's up out of the ground. It's being built. I don't
Right.
know when its opening date is. Is it March? It's March. Texas Roadhouse should be open.
Right.
That's right.
This month, I think, is their open date, later this month. So we're kind of waiting to see what pans out with that whole area. There's really not anything else. We can't really build anything because there's no more land for us right now.
I was going to say, we've used everything.
We've used all the land that we possibly can.
You bought that parking lot though, right? You're going to expand parking?
We did buy some of their parking, the old Outlet Mall parking lot,
Yeah,
and we've redone the curbing and stuff, so it's finished.
Nice.
We're just kind of like, we're Bozard Ford right now.
Yeah. Good. This is
Good.
our-
It's got to feel
This
back
is
to.
what we got. Yeah, it is actually nice to have. I felt like every week for about the last 2 months of last year, we had a meeting and said, okay, hey, employees, we need you to park somewhere different this week because we're building this or we're changing that or whatever. So it's nice to kind of be back and know where we're supposed to be and just, go to work on things like Bozard Built. I had mentioned to you guys before the show too, we're kind of rethinking our used car operation a little bit too. Not to say we're not going to have an awesome selection of 1 and 2 year old used cars. We are. But we have never really been a dealership that carried a lot of lower priced used cars, $10,000 cars, $20,000 cars, $30,000 cars. It just really hasn't been something we've focused on.
Yeah.
And we're going to add that. We're going to increase our used car inventory, and we're going to really try to work hard to find quality vehicles in those price ranges, because the fact of the matter is there's awesome people and awesome families that need a $25,000 car.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And what's going on in the market is, hey, you can either come to a dealership or a great independent operation and buy and have a great experience, get treated fairly, have them be honest with you, as long as you're buying this expensive car. And then the options a lot of times for a family that needs to buy a $20,000 car,
It's a toss-up.
it's
It
a
can be
toss-up.
just a toss-up.
It's a toss-up on the quality of the car. It's a
Yeah.
toss-up on how they're going to be treated and if they're going to be treated fairly, if they're going to be taken advantage of. And I mean, y'all know me. That's not my gig,
Right.
So I feel like our staff, it's going to take us a little while to kind of get used to it. We got to find the cars, obviously. They're not cars that we typically have and, have kept. So we're changing up some of our processes to do that. But we want to serve the whole community. We don't, we don't want to be just a car dealership that as long as you can buy an $80,000 car, welcome.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah.
Because listen, we want to sell an $80,000 car. We have a lot of them, by the way.
Yeah.
And they're not going anywhere. We're gonna have them, and Bozard Built is gonna be even more, expensive than that. But But we also don't want to forget about, the need, you're going to buy your kid a car, you're not spending $65,000, $70,000 buy your kid a car, most likely.
They're going to go speeding around.
Yeah, they're going to speed around.
You got to
put them in a Model T. Got to make them drive the Model T. So yeah, we spent some time last year talking about that, is how do we continue to serve this whole community,
That's really
and
cool.
make sure that the people that need to buy vehicles, they get quality vehicles, and that they get a great experience, and they get told the truth and not taken advantage of with interest rates. And interest rates are bad enough,
Everywhere,
everywhere. So anyway, so that one's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's going to be, it doesn't seem like a lot of work. That one's actually probably more work than Bozard built, because Bozard builds pieces and parts.
Right. And you know where to get those
pieces and parts, and you kind of know what customers are going to like them. Getting the word out that we're going to try to stock and carry, another subset of used cars and be an avenue for people to do that will be a little bit more work for us to do, but I'm excited about it.
But that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's a big deal.
I'm excited about it.
I mean, you're talking my price range now, I think it's going to be good for people to know that this has gone through the Bozard service shop as well.
Yeah.
It's not just when you buy a car in that price range, you're usually buying it from, like you said, one of these little independent dealerships. And it's been my experience, it's just one dude back there who's just, piecing whatever he can together.
And listen, I always want to make sure I'm clear. We have a lot of awesome independent shops here in this community, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's just not always the case, in every single one. And so by and large in that realm, you just kind of only have one choice, and to your point, we are putting these cars through our shop, and there are going to be times where we're going to have to disclose, hey, this car needs this, and we're not actually going to do that. The car is safe, but at this price range, we're not going to fix this, that, or the other, but at least we'll tell you. Right.
Yeah.
So you're not driving off like, oh, I think it's all good. No, we're going to say, hey, our service department did make a note that it probably needs this to be looked at and that to be looked at. And then that can be part of your buying decision, right? To know if you want to buy it and know that maybe on the horizon you might have a repair. But at that price range, that works for you. Right. Because the other price ranges just don't work or whatever. Or you can know not to buy that one because you're not in a position to make that repair in the next year or two or whatever. So
the transparency is huge.
That's what I think that's the biggest piece that we want to be able to provide. We work hard to provide transparency in all the other pieces of our business, and we think we can translate that into the used car customer as well.
Well, something else we talk about that I know has been a growing part of your business, and I think you guys are going to expand on it here pretty soon, the remote services.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a big one for us. I talked about that a lot last year, and we had kind of got the foundation of it laid and started to train some of our staff and get everybody ready. And we were really just doing mobile service last year, meaning like, we would send a mobile van to, say, one of the county facilities or to a business that has a fleet of vehicles. We would do some of their work on site, things like that, and a little bit of customer work. But we were really doing probably more of the mobile service work in commercial applications last year. Definitely going to expand that out this year. We have gone from 4 mobile trucks to 14 in the last about 3 months.
Oh, gee, that's a big step up.
It's a big step up, and we're shooting for 30-ish by summer, 28, 30 by summer. And obviously to still maintain that, what we can do for commercial customers. That's a big one. Not going to go away from that. Adding in some more customer pieces of that. A lot of that also will be like something that we're really working on is diagnostics. So like, let's say you get in your car and your car's driving fine, but it has a light on the dash.
Happens all the time.
Right. It happens all the time. Instead of putting black tape over it, I'm going to say that very clearly. That is one way to do it, but it's not recommended.
It's not the right way to do it.
A lot of times that's a whole day out of your life to come in for us to find out. It's 50-50, right? It finds out it does need something, or it finds out we hook a computer to it and reset something, and it's electrical or it's a sensor or something like that. So we're going to work toward trying to do some of the more diagnostic stuff remote. Because here's a scenario, especially in the last couple of years with like supply chain crap and parts delays and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, the chips.
Here's what happens. Customer comes in, I have a light on, or my car's making this noise or whatever. They come in, we've then taken the car from them, and it's sitting there. Then we have to wait for parts. Then we have to, right? A lot of this scenario, I can come to your house. We can say, oh, this is exactly what it is. We have to order the part. Your car's safe to drive. You keep your car. right? And don't mess with us. We'll then send the remote vehicle back out to install the part when it's done. So you've actually had two situations that you didn't have to come to the dealership.
That's a lot nicer for people.
So I don't know. It's just a way to work toward just trying to keep it more convenient. There's a lot of inefficiencies in kind of the old way that we're going to work through. And
but how do you make sure that their driveway or whatever, like what if it's a gravel driveway? Like can they still lift the car up? Like have you thought about all of those little mechanics?
Yeah. I mean,
you okay?
We would have to like maybe move it. I mean, if you like live at maybe Hogwaller, I don't know if
right.
I'm not sure. Yeah, we probably would run into some scenarios where we're like, we can't work on it right here.
Let's try to meet you in a parking lot or something. Yeah.
But by and large, we can, we're not going to do heavy repair there anyway, right? So a lot of the diagnostic stuff is hooking a computer to it, retrieving the codes, getting the indicators of what's going on with it. The technician can test drive it right there in your neighborhood, and if you're saying it makes a noise or whatever, they can hear that. And really, it's to make a plan for the vehicle. It's to save you the first step at the dealership to then go make the plan. The plan might end up being, hey, we're sending a tow truck to get your car, and we're bringing you a loaner. That might be a plan.
But you didn't have to go to the dealership.
But you didn't have to go to the dealership
out.
to find that
Yeah.
out. You may have to come to the dealership to pick it back up or something like that. So it's just to kind of streamline that process. I mean, I know, on the show here, you guys talk about so many things about this area that have grown and the result of them. This area has grown so much, and the cars on the road. I mean, if you call our service department, a lot of times you're going to find out if you don't know what's wrong with your car and you just need to bring it into us. We might tell you 3 or 4 weeks, right? Because truly there are that many cars ahead of you in the line,
Yeah.
So this is also a way to combat that a little bit, to say, hey, at least we could come out and see what we think's going on with it, determine safe to drive, not safe to drive, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, just going at it to try to make it easier for people.
And people are starting
it just shouldn't be hard to own a car. It should not be hard. The breaking down of the car should really just be the hardest part, and that is going to happen. But dealing with us really shouldn't be hard.
And everybody's looking for the conveniencies these days. The Uber Eats, the pick up the stuff from the store and bring it to your house. So this is kind of what people are expecting now from service. And for you guys to kind of take the lead and say, okay, we're going to adapt to this marketplace that we're in now. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
It's
we
just
bought a wrecker,
one more
so
thing
you'll
that
see
sets
a
you apart.
Bozard Ford wrecker driving around, maybe. So that if we do end up in someone's driveway and the vehicle needs to be disabled or it's not safe to drive, we can send the wrecker out and pop it on there and bring it. The wrecker can take a loaner car, leave it for him, and bring a car back. So yeah, we're kind of looking at all the efficiencies there to.
Are there like extra service fees or anything like that to do this service?
No, not specifically. Now, if you just want your oil changed in your driveway because that's more convenient for you, that oil change is more expensive than if you bring it to Quick Lane.
Got it. Okay.
But that's really not the bulk of our mobile experience.
Okay.
So we don't charge you extra to. We also have a pickup and delivery service, which is like. Let's say we know that your vehicle needs to come in for whatever reason. We'll send someone with a loaner, give it to you, bring your car back, and that doesn't cost you any extra.
Fantastic.
That kind of thing.
That's fantastic.
So we already had that as well. So that'll be part of remote services. So it's kind of like looking at it like it's more than just mobile service, meaning the mobile repair. It's kind of the whole gamut of how do we get to you versus you come to us when it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
Very
it's exciting.
exciting.
It's going to be fun.
What else is going on down there at Bozard Ford Lincoln? Anything else we need to know? What about, we never really talk about the Lincolns very much, but Lincolns are beautiful vehicles.
Lincolns are beautiful. Let me tell you something. I very rarely, after 25 years of being in the car business, this is like confessional. I really don't get super excited about new cars. They're cars, right? For me, I know what I like to drive, and there's about 3 of them that I switch between, and a new car comes out, and we're like, awesome, it's a new car. They're great. The new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus is like blow your mind cool.
Really?
It's really cool. So it's the mid-size SUV, so it's like the same. It's not the Aviator is technically in the same size class as the Explorer. The Nautilus is one down. It's like the Ford Edge class. They're not the same vehicle at all.
Right.
Remember, it used to be like that, like a Mercury,
They were basically twins.
like a Lincoln Town Car and a Mercury Marquis and a Ford Crown Vic were really all the same car.
They
with
just had different
patch on the outside.
interiors.
Look at the emblem. Oh,
Oh, this was the Lincoln, but they're exactly the same. That's not the case anymore. They are different vehicles, but all vehicles, Honda, Toyota, like they have class sizes, right? So the Nautilus would be in the same class as, say, as a Ford Edge, right? So it's a midsize SUV, and it's so cool. I don't know. It's got some cool. So it has this, when you get in it, it has the whole dash as a screen. It's not, and it still has a little, like a screen for like your radio and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's got this giant, like they call it a Vista dash. Like it's like, it goes from side to side of the car, and it's got all these features on it. And the car itself is just like really luxurious
Ooh,
and
Clay's got
super
one
nice.
on
Oh yeah,
the-
you pulled
on the
out. See the
screen
dash?
here.
Look at that.
Oh, look at
the whole thing
that.
across. The
like a
passenger has a
spaceship.
screen. You can have the weather up. You can have your, obviously your media up. You can have all kinds
That's
of
beautiful.
information and navigation, and it's kind of like this interactive experience when you get in there, and it's really cool. So yeah, and our Lincoln dealership is growing. The area is also growing in Lincoln. We're selling a lot.
Yeah.
We're selling more Lincolns this year in the last even just 90 days than we've sold ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, Lincoln's
Very
good.
cool.
Lincoln's exciting.
I owned a
It's good.
Lincoln probably for about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I loved it. It was
Yeah.
MKZ, and it was
Yeah,
it was
MKZ
really
is
good.
a great vehicle.
It's the only
Yeah.
hybrid car I've ever owned. And I got to about year 5, and I was like, I'm worried about the batteries.
I always used to love the town cars,
Yeah.
man. I thought I was into big sedans for a little while in those town
Yeah,
cars.
Lincoln has some great hybrid options too.
Mm-hmm.
The,
Do they?
the hybrid Ford Motor Company in general is really focusing on that hybrid technology. So we have a lot of, we have F-150 in a hybrid,
Right.
Explorer. I drove an Explorer hybrid for a long time and an F-150 hybrid. Loved them.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it's like almost like best of, because I remember last year I was sharing with y'all, I drove the Lightning, the F-150
Right.
full electric.
Right,
Love
yeah.
that
Yeah.
too. But man, the hybrid is like best of both worlds.
Is
you
it
get,
really?
You get such great fuel economy, but you don't have that fear of like, what if I forgot to charge my car?
Right, right. That would be my
You do
biggest
have
fear.
this,
Yes.
like, safety net of a motor.
Yeah.
I can just go to the gas station.
I think I was
Yeah,
getting like 50,
they're
50 to the
awesome.
gallon. I
Yeah.
mean, it was
Yeah,
it was
they're
crazy.
really awesome.
Yeah, out on the highway.
Very
Yeah.
cool.